Hi everyone and welcome to Britpop Buzz, the only channel on YouTube bringing you the Britpop and 90s indies content that you all love. Now please remember to subscribe to the channel and also give the videos a like if whichever ones you decide to watch. Does the channel great and gets it out there on the YouTube algorithm, if you know what I mean. So please hit that thumbs up button, give it a like. Now last year we unfortunately lost the lead singer to one of my favourite 90s bands. That was James Broad of the band Silver Sun. Now, I would like to dedicate this episode in memory of James Broad and Silver Sun, and it is a tribute to him. And I'm going to be opening up the contents of this envelope that I bought off eBay. Now, in this envelope, there are magazine clippings. I believe they are all from around the time of the first album. I'm not quite sure. I'm not exactly sure of what the contents is. There may be gig reviews, there may be album reviews, there may be interviews with James himself and members of the band. But I'm going to open it up and we're going to have a look and we're going to talk about what's inside. So let's get this open and we'll see what's inside. I think there's a note from the seller there. I'm trying to be as careful as I possibly can. There's one bit. The seller has gone to great effort to protect these newspaper clippings. They're in a plastic wallet and is folded over the top edge with some sellotape. There we go. I'm getting in there now. So, hang on. Nope, there's more tape. Fair play to them, they've proper sealed out. Right. Let's get in there, let's move this away. Take that one away. So yeah, there's a thank you note from the seller. Move that to one side. So yeah, there we have a Silver Sun Golden Skin single advertisement. New single out with 6 new tracks. I don't actually have that in the collection yet, so that's one worth watching out for. Then we've got a black and white. This is interesting. A black and white, very interesting. We've got it's a black and white single advertisement for probably the most famous song, Lava, out next week, and it's got a list of tour dates on the bottom there. They're playing with Supernaturals and Gene. So this is out of a newspaper. I feel it is. It's out of a newspaper. Something free on the back there. Tape with Paul Oakenfold. Yeah, I actually like that black and white. Yeah, I like that a lot. I might frame that. I do like that. I like that a lot. Black and white. Yeah, it's nice. So let's see what we've got first. What have we got here? It's looks like an advertisement for, before Silver Sun were called Silver Sun, they were originally just called Sun, and they released one EP under the name Sun. And I think this is a review for an advertisement for it. Rarity, the Sun EP at £10 on 7-inch yellow vinyl and CD. Let's say, blame James Broad, spectacled frontman of Silver Sun, describing him as a 90s Buddy Holly. It talks about him a bit. Going on saying now, oh yeah, talks about James. Comparing them to the Stereophonics. Oh, easy. Silver Sun shared the guitar pop energy of, say, but angular chord changes in a wide-eyed. No, I don't think they're anything like Stereophonics. Always It's different. It tells a little bit of the history of the band. Formed in Darlington. Yeah. Alright, talks about
Talks about Lava was recently issued with a song sung in Japanese. So it goes on a little bit about the history of the band, the Sun EP. Doesn't say actually where this is from. Anything on the back? Oh, Reef. Turn that straight over. I'm not even going to look at that. Oof. But yeah, a little bit of a history lesson there. Like I said, it doesn't have on it where this clipping is from. But it talks about how the band was formed, James himself, and a little bit of comparisons. And the first EP, £10 on yellow vinyl or CD. Yeah. What's next? Another advertisement for Too Much, Too Little, Too Late. It's a thin one, this. The new EP featuring 4 unique cover versions. Ah, right, yeah, when they did some cover songs. No date on this, it's just out next week. Very nice. Cruising for a boozing. Stars on their locals. There's a nice picture of James. Just some jeans. Looks like he's got a pair of Adidas on. And is he outside of a pub? Yes, he is outside of a pub. This week, James Broad of Silversun. Local pub, the Marlborough. Where is it? The Marlborough. It's in Marlborough Road, Holloway in London. And let's see what's great about the Marlborough. There aren't any good pubs in Hollowell. They're all pubs with scratchy music on the jukebox and people staring at you when you walk in. The Marlborough is the best of the bunch though. It's on its way to being a quite nice, maybe that's because some pubs have realised the kind of people that are starting to move into that area. But you'll still see the odd wino looking around the place. What's his poison? Let's look at that name your poison. Oh, he likes, I quite like Caffrey's, but really I like drinking red. Is that going to be red wine? It is red wine. You can't drink red wine in a pub because you're never quite sure where the wine's from or who's trodden the grapes. I drink to get pissed. A lot of people did then. So really anything that's cheap and strong will do. Always ask, a question about nuts. Are you a dry roasted or a salted kind of guy? I'm a honey roasted man. Oh, expensive taste. They're the Barry White of bar snacks. I also like Worcester sauce crisps. Oh, I must admit I like Worcester sauce crisps. But I get bored of them after the 3rd packet and you can never just... They're always coming 6 of cheese and onion, 6 of Worcester sauce. Yeah, after the 3rd packet I've had enough. And how often do you get them in? Oh, before I was in a band I hung around the back of the bar. Since I joined the band I don't mind getting around in. But it's a pain when you're at the bar and mates turn up out of the blue. What's at the bottom? What's your best night out ever? Oh, what's James have to say? What's his best night out ever? Our best nights are on tour when we find places. We'd never drink in. I'm never in the Marlborough until closing time. I tend to pop out for a quiet pint with mates. On tour, there's loads of great places. We found one vodka bar in Glasgow where they did curry flavoured shots. We're going back there. I don't know what to think about curried flavoured shots. No, not my kind of thing. This was done by Phil Alexander. I liked that. A few interesting facts there. I liked that a lot. That's a nice little clip, that. Up next, singles of the week. Silversun, Golden Skin. Ah yeah, on there with Foo Fighters of Monkey Wrench. What do they have to say? This must be from Kerrang. Is it Kerrang? Because it's got the K's. By Phil Alexander again. I wonder if that last one was from Kerrang then. And then was this get 5 K's for Golden Skin? So there's no... Well, it must be better than good, because I'm guessing 4 K's is good. And the rest of the page had the 5 K's on. Brit Rock's answer to the Beach Boys. Yeah, I can see the comparisons with that. Silversun come up trumps with a perfect pop of Golden Skin, a track which has hit etched all over it. Ex-Nirvana man Dave Grohl and his Foo Fighters return. So a little bit there and then straight on to Foo Fighters. Yeah, I can see the comparisons to Beach Boys. I think a lot of people might think that instantly when they hear Golden Skin, especially the first album in general. Yeah, you compare them to the Beach Boys. But when I listen to Silversun, I think it was better than Beach Boys, and they crafted that sound they crafted that sound and they stood out from the rest from anybody else that was around at the time. Oh, this is for the second album. Neo Wave. Silver Sun will release their second album, Neo Wave. Released the greatest album ever. It's on Polydor still on October the 5th. They claim it's the greatest record ever made. Right. They won't be far wrong. It's got one of my favourite Silver Sun songs on. I'll See You Around. That is one of my favourite songs. Tells you where it was who it was recorded with. Al Clay in Brussels. And James Broad says, if we don't think we've made the greatest album ever, then why should we bother? Well, yeah, if you don't think you have, then don't bother. Oh yeah, look, the LP is preceded by a single, I'll See You Around, and they're kicking off a UK tour at Cambridge. And then there's a full list of tour dates there. Don't say who they're playing with, and I think that picture itself is the picture on the front of the cover of the album Neo Wave. That's the picture used, and it's in different colours. Man, there's a lot here. I'm not going to go through all of these, I think, 'cause there's more than I anticipated, but we'll carry on. It's another album review for Neo Wave. Tongue-in-cheek power pop with 70s references glow. Follows the quartet's eponymous debut. So this, it came out after their EP of covers. And let's see what it says. Silver Sun's recent EP of covers, which featured a version, There were no strangers to cheesy listening. This is rammed to the rafters with Queen-esque harmonies and chugging cheap trick guitars. Queen-esque harmonies? No, I might get slated in the comments for this, but I don't like Queen in particular, not a big fan. And Neo Wave piles on the pomp and Gorgonzola with similar abandon. Yep, it does. It's a great follow-on from the debut album. The pop for pop's sake ethos is refreshing, and singer James Broad has the making of a stars in their eyes champ as Freddie. I don't think he's anything like Freddie Mercury. Nope. And the accuracy in which scared pastiches, I can't even say that word properly, from Elo's Mr. Blue Sky is frightening. Oh, so it's comparing it to Mr. Blue Sky there. It's great fun in places then, but some will find Neo Wave's ability to evoke the spectre of Brian May in a full-length Mac hard to stomach. It doesn't say where that's from. I don't agree with it at all. I don't think it's anything like Queen or Bright. No. I think that's a bit of a... That's not a good review, that. And the writer, James McNair, I think he's talking a load of rubbish there. I don't agree with him that. He's talking out his ass. Pardon my French. What else have we got? Silver Sun. The picture again. Oh, well, I apologise for when I first introduced this video, saying it was just about the first album, because it's not. These are all from the second album. I'll See You Around reviews, the single. What's this one? Silver Sun at the picture used on the album cover again. Let's hope it's a better review than the last one. The last album was quite dense and a little samey. Reflects singer/guitarist James Broad. This one's heavier with more heart. So he's saying that the first album was a bit samey. Yeah, a lot. I can see what he's saying there, because a lot of the songs do sound the same. I'm not going to disagree with him. And he's saying that Neo Wave is heavier with more heart. Silver Sun's second album then, the fun-loving foursome of... Stereophonics on the back. I spent the best part of this year holed up in a studio with Al Clay. Yep, we've had that on the other one. Writing and recording Neo Wave, which also had the ludicrous working title of Switzerland. Yeah, funny enough, Switzerland was the... I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure Switzerland was the name of the last album that James Broad released under the Silver Sun monikers. The last album by Silver Sun was called Switzerland. So yeah, comments below if I'm wrong, but I think I'm right. It was called Switzerland. The first single, I'll See You Around, emerges on September the 7th. People will be surprised, reckons Broad. We're quite obviously influenced by a lot of 70s bands. But with this album, we're doing our own thing. I think the live shows should be a little different too. On the last tours we've done, it's almost been like we were scared. We rushed through the sets. Maybe because we drunk too much coffee. This time we'll be more relaxed with power, light and shade. That's interesting. That's saying that he rushed through the sets. I've seen the video on TFI Friday and that, and I don't know. I don't think he rushed through it. Got a small advertisement here. Silver Sun plus special guests at Ulu, University of London, Wednesday 24th of November, £8 to see them there. Doesn't say the special guests are. And £8. What's on the back? An advert for a pizza place, Gumpy's Pizza. What we got? Silver Sun lamped. What's this for? Silver Sun guitarist Paul Smith was taken to hospital last week, suffering from concussion after falling from a lamppost. The accident happened on Blackfriars Bridge in London as Smith was returning home from an XFM launch party in Clerkenwell in the early hours of Tuesday morning. This is some interesting news. The previous night the band had played an XFM gig at the Astoria. Smith was taken to hospital 2 days later after suffering from blackouts and blurred vision. Oh dear, I don't think I've ever heard about this. He was treated but not kept overnight. He's been advised to rest and the band had to cancel their Surfers Against Sewage benefit gig in Cornwall last Friday. The band's spokeswoman commented, "God knows what he's doing up the lamppost. I think it's fair to say he was a bit drunk." Well, yeah, I think he probably was a bit drunk by the sounds of that. Fell down a lamppost. Oh dear. I think anyone would have concussion if they've climbed a lamppost and fallen from it, but yeah, that could have been a really serious injury. That could have. What else have we got? Let's have a look at a couple of these smaller ones. What's this one here? Silver Sun, the Britpop rock stars, are in the throes of recording an EP for March, released through Polydor, followed by a UK tour in April. Then it's off to Japan for more shows. Lots of bands in the 90s went to Japan. Japan were crazy for UK bands in the 90s. They will then head back home for some festival appearances before settling back into the studio. So this is in between the first and second album. That was for the covers EP. This is a really small one. It's smaller than my thumb. Britpop rocker Silver Sun have released a single, Immediate, from their third album, Disappear. Well, this is third album. Singer-guitarist James Broad was lucky to avoid serious injury. Another injury to the band in a fall while shooting a video at Shepperton Studio. His harness was slightly tangled, which made James very fearful for his manhood, said an onlooker. Well, I hope James recovered from if he did have an injury, I hope he recovered. Here's another single. Silver Sun Dad's Weird Dream, a single review. Cannily constructed muscular power pop, slightly emasculated by surgical slick, but certainly worth a punt. So it's saying it's worth buying. I don't think I've listened to anything. I don't think I've listened to that by Silver Sun. I don't think I've listened to that. Silver Sun Disappear. Being compared to Weezer again. Having gone missing soon after the release of their excellent Neo Wave album, it's a tremendous pleasure to welcome back Silver Sun, especially as their new album's a bit of a humdinger. Like our own equivalent of Weezer, Silver Sun plays sunshiny, poignant pop punk, armed with an album full of excellent songs and the catchiest riffs this side of Cheap Trick. The best song is Lies, a wistful little tune that managed to set up camp in your brain, yet never gets annoying. And while there isn't an obvious single on here, the songwriting has matured to the point that there isn't a bad song on the entire record. It seems a long time since they went away, but after listening to this, it's as if they never did. With a bit of luck, they'll be around for a while. Brett Callwood. Silver Sun, Disappear here. I've not listened to anything off the third album, Not gonna lie, nothing at all. So a couple more album reviews here. Couple single reviews for I'll See You Around. I'm going to move on to some gig reviews because that seems to have been all the single and album reviews. Silver Sun always promised to deliver immaculately chiselled, flawless pop masterpieces. So they're not wrong there, and I'll See You Around is one of my favourites. Clean line of transcendentally lovely of melody, but instead give us crap retreads of songs that were bad to begin with. Hence the atrocity that was Too Much, Too Little, Too Late. Now they return to the zippy, sugary, lava-like power pop they should have never have abandoned in the first place. But it sounds, nevertheless, like a covering of an old Silver Sun song. Fast, fluffy, and crucially immediately forgettable. Well, that started off good, and then it started giving them a bit of bad press for the EP, and then, well, you can't win them all. Gotta get bad press sometime. So we have a picture of James playing his guitar. What's he say? We can do everything brilliantly. We can do everything brilliantly. And the dates start in Oxford. So this must be for... There's the tour dates there. Silver Sun are busy boys these days with their new single, I'll See You Around. So it's before the second album again. Oh, this is from Mojo magazine. We've got to the stage where we can do everything brilliantly. We've grown so much since we started. A lot of people see us as this Beach Boysy kind of band, and we're doing everything we can to change that. Also, we recognise that a lot of people were comparing him to the Beach Boys, and he wanted to move away from that. That's why I said in the earlier one then that the second album was heavier than the first one. Formed 2.5 years ago, they were signed not long afterwards. Their live appearances. We were back to front about everything and released their self-titled debut in May 1997. Yep, cheap punk pop that landed, yep. You get people writing into Kerrang saying, I'd rather hack my testicles off with a rusty knife than listen to Silver Sun. Well, there's lovers of everything and there's haters of everything. And Silver Sun had their haters. And others saying they were the best band they'd ever heard. That's what I'm like with music. I have really strong opinions that usually end up with fights, but I don't care. It's better to be opinionated, to be middle of the road, wishy-washy man. He's not wrong there. You can't like every piece of music in the world, and I have my own opinions about a lot of bands from the 90s, and yeah, some were good, some were not good. Neo Wave, released at the beginning of this month, is unlikely to lay this dichotomy to rest. Their up-tempo pop is layered with harmonies but filled with the slabs of guitar that offset any sugary exterior. James reckons that Todd Rundgren is probably the person who influenced most of the new stuff. As well as Runt-era Rundgren, you're also likely to hear the clean, punchy sound of early Cheap Trick, something James is proud of and admits he surreptitiously sneaked into the track The Prophet on the Prairie with the line, "Don't try this at home, kids, this is a cheap trick. They're one of my favourite bands." He enthuses. Most of the kids who buy our stuff wouldn't know who they were anyway. Maybe it'll do some good because they'll start investigating it. And as the band speed towards another interview, the amiable James continues to chat and joke about with mentors and the time he met Brian May in W.H. Smith's, but was too scared to say anything, but you're Brian May. That's a good interview, that's interesting, that. Yeah, I like that. Couple of little facts in there. And James is speaking the truth of how he feels about the first album and what he feels the fans think. I like that. That's a nice little interview. Here I've got... This is a a review of a show, Silvers at Royal Court, Liverpool. Silversun come on and kick into their opening number, a searing, soaring pop song which makes Blur give up and the Manics go missing, or at least they might do. That's giving Silversun some praise there. I'm stuck on a train at the time worrying that I'm going to start my holiday weekend alone in rainy Liverpool. And who are Silversun anyway? Talks a little bit about who Silversun are. He's talking about his train journey in. We're trying to get to the review of the show. We are the sensational Silversun. Well, it's nice of him to tell me because I would never have worked it out for myself. The guitarist playfully picks out the chorus to The Kinks. I wish I could be like David Watts. Silversun wish and wish and wish. If wishes were pennies, they'd be quids in. They pound out their appreciation of Blur, Long Pigs, Manson at bloody satire, blissfully unhindered by any sense of shame or modicum of talent. I'd been warned that Silversun were just boys with the guitars, but I wasn't that worried after all. Wasn't that exactly Davey Henderson's description of Subway Sect? These wee boys with battered guitars and V-neck jumpers singing don't want to play rock and roll. But Silversun do want to play rock and roll. Their guitars aren't battered and there's not a V-neck in sight. Silversun aren't boys with the guitars. Silversun play boys with the guitars music. Like Blur or Sean Maguire's backing band, like Symposium, like Republica, even like Kaniki. BWG music crosses gender and style. Bra straps and claptraps are its latest gimmicks, that's all. Underneath it's the same hollow exercises in collective wishful thinking. Silversun do want to play rock and roll, but really wanting isn't enough. They come on, close their eyes and pray no one notices the lack of inspiration. They wish someone should have sat them down and played them Roxy's music's Pyjama Rama, telling them to come back when they could better that. Instead, some record company executive looked up from the stained mirror in his lap long enough to notice Britpop and think, gotta get me one of those. A year and a half later, here are the sensational Silversun. An A&R man's wasted wish. Later, their Loz Hardy-like singer will say, I wish I could say it's been a pleasure. Quite so, Mark Luffman. I don't like that. Started off good, but then towards the end, yeah, that's not nice. And they were better than that. And yeah, I can see what he's saying, that everyone wanted trying to get the next big thing, the Britpop sounding thing in the 90s, but no, that wasn't Silversun at all. They were better than that. They were a lot better than that. That's upset me a little bit reading that last bit. Let's see what else there is. There's a big Robbie Williams picture here. Let's hang on. It's folded over. What's this big Robbie Williams picture? Oh, it's a picture of it's an advertisement for the I'll See You Around single. So yeah, here we have a cool looking small newspaper cutout for the single I See You Around. It'd make a nice little poster of that, or in a picture frame. I like that. Yeah. Good old Robbie on the back. Not. So let's get back to this one. Silversun. Harmony hand power popsters struggle against geeky image while slavering over ELO and Rush. So, Silversun, our representatives in the new Power Pop Alliance, alongside Fountains of Wayne and the Wannadies and Grass Show, have a theory about this resurgence in spiky guitars matched with forceful harmony, embroidered melodies. I like the Wannadies and I like Grass Show. Great bands, 2 great albums. Fountains of Wayne, I can't say I've really delved much into them, but underneath, for me, being really bored and not having enough girlfriends to keep me out of the house was the thing that made me write music, declares James Brotherod. I'm sure you could have had lots of girls, James. Frontman of the South London Darlington foursome. Look at Sweden, there's absolutely nothing to do there, which is maybe why they produce so much power pop. Yeah, the One at Eyes and Grass show, yeah. Although perhaps mercifully there's been no lasting influence on their music. The roots of Silver Sun lie in Broad and drummer Richard's aping 70s prog rock twiddlers rush while at school together. Their music used to make me feel really great, and we wanted to replicate that, Broad says, but schoolboys playing with limited ability made it sound more palatable to other people. We're glad we don't sound like them because we never wanted to sound like anyone, except maybe for the guitars to sound a little like Bob Mould. Yeah, this is a nice, I like this a lot. A little bit of backstory. Again, comparisons with the Beach Boys are common, but only Broad reckons because we all sing. Sace or Sice, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, and bassist Richard Kane were former choir boys, which helps to create those tight, trousered, three-part harmonies. Strangely, he's happier being compared to Cheap Trick. I've tried to rip off as much of them as I could, although the most bandied about similarities to Anaraki US troupe Weezer. I don't get it. I've listened to Weezer. No, Beach Boys, yeah. Weezer, not so much. By a coincidence, Broad claims the chorus of Silver Sun's second single, Lava, mucky subject matter, having the Kleenex handy during prolonged periods of bachelorhood, recalls a theme to Happy Days, the very show that Weezer took off for their Buddy Holly promo video. We demoed all our songs before Weezer came along, Broad points out, before adding, they're not a million miles away from what we wanted to do. Like Weezer, Broad has had to confront accusations of a certain geekishness. I tried working out, he sighs, then I realised I couldn't be bothered. Don't know how that feels. The geek thing is only because I wear glasses, I think. Yeah. Mites penning lyrics about sitting on the toilet and masturbation and discussing Rush, Foreigner and other AOR giants. The only cover Broad would consider is our REO Speedwagon's Keep On Loving You. Have something to do with it. I've given up trying to be cool, Broad grins. It's a cool picture of the band underneath at the bottom there. Picture of the album cover. That was nice, a little bit of backstory, and I liked that. A bit of backstory and describing how the music sounds. Yeah, that was good, that. I liked that. Couple more to go. Here Comes Silver Sun. Get that one back. Does it say anywhere where it's from? No, don't say what magazine it's from on the back. Doesn't say on there either. Here Comes Silver Sun. Silver Sun released a new single, So I'll See You Around Again, on August the 31st, the second track to be taken from the band's forthcoming album Neo Waves. Not Waves, Wave, which comes out on October the 5th. It's the first new material since last year's release to a Lava single, yep. It's 2 CD, CD1, Mist and Jessica, and yeah. Alright, yes, there was CD1, For Your Art in Disguise on CD1, and Mist and Jessica on CD2. And then it talks about the cover that they did, Too Much Too Little Too Late was the highest charting single. It was. Don't say that, but it was. James Broad told Enemy the band decided to beat a retreat across the channel to get away from all the chemical, liquid and female distraction of the UK. He continued, "We made a decision to shut ourselves away, ignoring anything our contemporaries were doing and trying to capture some of the excitement contained in the records we grew up with. I don't know who's going to get it, but whoever does is guaranteed to have themselves a pretty good time." Yeah, it is a good album. Then it goes through a track listing for the album. Tells you about a tour. The band also embark on their first tour since last spring. All the tour dates, that's a short one. A picture of the band there. I want to say it's from the Enemy. What's this one? Oh, I don't think it's going to end on a high. Bottom of the pile. It's another neo wave. Same picture. Well, no, it is same photographer. Just James doing something else. Could possibly be from Enemy again. In years to come, Neo Wave will be regarded as a benchmark album. It will assume historical importance as the chunk of Britpop cheese that finally choked the bloated, complacent mainstream music industry in this country to death. This, in 1998, is the final twitch of the major label indie patient. We'll not see the like again this century, hopefully. It's a pitifully determined last stand. No drop of production gloss has been skimped on Neowave in an effort to fulfill the sleazy dreams of these desperate fools whose eyes are so plainly fixed on the prize of mid-70s pop stardom. Of course, it is no longer the mid-70s, but that doesn't impede Silversun in their efforts to rip off Cheap Trick, the Corgis, 10cc, ELO, and the Knack. Sadly, if they really are living in the mid-70s, then they will be beaten up by punks next year. Unlike their heroes, however, they cannot write a memorable tune. It just isn't in them. Although they can slide their fingers down the fretboard and make a sound like whee, they think too that by harmonising in high voices they sound like the Beach Boys. Like ELO, they don't. They sound like vaudeville indie kids with evil coke eyes. They sound like a Robbie Williams support act. They are a Robbie Williams support act. Or is that the Supernaturals? Oof. Someone's got the claws out. They are also stupid and sexist. Bit strong. Let's play their song called Only a Girl, where James Broad sings, "This is another song about an imaginary bird. I like it best when she walks upstairs minus her underwear. Looks like a butterfly ready to go." The chorus goes, "It's only a girl, there'll be another one on the way. What do you say?" We say that when Silversun split up, they will be forced to kiss and go out with each other, and we will laugh at their pug ugly misery. Oh dear. Of course, Enemy may be missing the irony intended in this music. We may have a different idea about how to have a good time with pop music. This record could be throwaway and dizzy, but brilliant and life-affirming too. We could only bear to play the album once, so we stand to be corrected. But our hunch is that James Broad hits it on the head with the pleads on Sharks. Keep me away from the sharks. Too late, Broad. Sharks thrive on dead meat and plankton. Well, that was the last one. Let me just check underneath. Something on the back. I didn't like that last interview. Well, that says a lot about the Enemy back then. That says a lot about the Enemy back then. Oh, when you want to do something, you don't want to do it. Here we go. Here's the poster. I like that. Cover up that last one. cover that up. Well, thank you for watching. Please subscribe and like this video if you liked it. And I hope there was some up interviews and some down interviews, but I really enjoyed that, and I found out some interesting facts about Silver Sun that I didn't know before. So I hope you stay to the end, and please hit the subscribe bell so you don't miss any future episodes. And I will see you next time on the Britpop Buzz.